Hi, this is Bill from Hiragari. Thanks for watching. Today I'm going to show you how I made a small 19-inch studio rack without a full workshop. I've accumulated a few pieces of outboard gear and wanted a rack for the studio to keep it all in. I know there's a few IKEA hacks about, but I live 2,000 kilometres from the nearest IKEA, so I had to take matters into my own hands. I don't have a full workshop, just a few power drills and a circular saw, so I decided to design it using as few cuts as possible. All of the cuts were made from the square factory dressed ends of each board, so 4 cuts in total. I used an offcut of another board as a straight edge for the circular saw, clamping it over a piece of dollar store rubber drawer matting. It helps to stop the timber from sliding away under the force of the saw pushing against it. I didn't want to wait for actual rack rails to arrive, so I decided to make these myself out of aluminium angle. The drilling guide is an image from Wikipedia, believe it or not, scaled up to size in Photoshop and printed out at 100% scale. I've put the PDF for this with the plans for this rack in a zip file, which you can download from the link in the description. You'll need the password to unzip it, which you can get at the end of this video. The rack ears are made from 20mm aluminium angle, 3mm thick. I cut it to 180mm lengths, knowing that 4 rack units is about 178mm, and wanting a little bit of clearance above and below the gear in the rack. After filing the rough edges smooth, I put some painter's tape on the face of one of the angles, and then attached the drilling guide with a little bit of glue before drilling out the bolt holes, first with a 2mm bit, then with a 6.5mm bit. I filed the rack ears smooth again, then marked and pre-drilled their position on the sides of the rack, 1.5cm in from the front of the rack. I later sprayed them with black matte paint just to tidy them up. I pre-fitted and drilled the sides and bottom before preparing to finish the timber. The distance between the inside faces of the sides needs to be 485mm to accommodate a 19-inch piece of kit. Pine is a soft wood and great to work with, but staining it without a surface sealant will result in blotchy, uneven finish, so it's a worthwhile step. All the timber was sanded, painted with a surface sealer, and then sanded again. I applied the stain, a colour called Jarrah after an Australian hardwood. I didn't bother to completely cover the inside faces of the rack pieces as they weren't going to be visible. Once the stain cured, I applied an oil-based polyurethane. I did the initial coat with a sponge brush, but it was February in Cairns in tropical far northern Australia and took over a week to cure in the heat and humidity. So I mixed up my own wipe-on poly using a 50-50 blend of polyurethane and turpentine and applied 2 more coats. Finally, I re-drilled all the holes to remove the polyurethane that had flowed in and added the rack ears and attached the sides to the bottom. After making sure all was square, I did a quick test fit to make sure everything was good before attaching the top. I used 90-degree shelf brackets to attach the top to the sides and finished with some little rubber furniture feet. Finally, I fit the gear in using M6 bolts and nuts. I'm really happy with the final product. It's functional, loads cheaper than I would have paid for a pre-made case or rack, and I really like the look. I also like that I made it. It's always a great feeling when you can make something with your own hands, and I'm reminded of that every time I look at it in the studio. If you want to make your own, there's a set of plans as well as the rack drilling template linked in the description. To unlock the zip file, you'll need the password, which is nice rack, all lowercase, no spaces. If I make another equipment rack, I'll probably go straight to the wipe-on polyurethane as it finishes loads quicker. I'll probably also just order rack rails instead of drilling them out myself. While it wasn't that hard, I just got sick of metal filings turning up in my garage for weeks afterwards. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like it. If you enjoy what I do, please subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell icon to receive notifications anytime I post something new. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.